Hi, and welcome to Thanks Again Film, Episode 6 Avatar The Way of Water. I think it's The Way of Water. Hold on, let me look it up. Yeah, The Way of Water. I wrote something different on the YouTube page. No, this Avatar The Way of Water. I went over the first Avatar. I think that was podcast number 2. And Avatar The Way of Water is different. It's a completely different story. It's different than the first one. It's more about the family. There's 2 essays up on the channel. Avatar 1 turned out to be an empathy story, I think. It was about how... Well, the message boiled down to everyone. But it was about how Jake Sully needed to find the empathy. He showed up as someone being reckless and harmful to Natiri's planet. And he needed to find the empathy to care about it. And he ended up finding so much empathy that he became another being entirely. They say the way to empathy is to walk through someone else's shoes. And he does that literally. It's his brother's shoes. And Natiri also goes on a journey where she needs to find empathy. Because she hates the sky people. She absolutely hates the sky people because they will destroy everything. They will take her family, just walk right over it. And on her journey, she has to not only, at the moment she meets the character in the story, he's glued to her hip. And she had to find the empathy to care about someone that she hates. And she found so much empathy that she fell in love with that character. By the end of the movie, she says, "My Jake Sully." They literally fall in love in that movie. And it's heartwarming. At the end of the essay, I put the part of the movie up where he learns to ride the dragon for the first time. And then he's on the dragon, and then they fall off the cliff. And it's unsteady, but he gets the hang of it, and it's a joy. And he's smiling. And then she sees it, and she runs and hops on her dragon and flies in. And then they're sailing side by side. and you just see the joy on their faces. And that's Avatar 1. I personally think it's about empathy. The Colonel did not empathize. And you could go through, I bet, I haven't done it, I bet you can go through segments of that story. I bet James Cameron did a good enough job writing it, where you could look through that story and see moments where he could have. I bet he had about 1 to 3 opportunities to make a choice, to have empathy for Home Tree and the Na'vi, and he chose not to. It was his job to think about Earth, which is really interesting. They have he has an entire plan to look after. Earth is out of resources, so he's trying to prop up humanity, and he's not going to think twice about one little tribe and their fancy tree. He's going to grab those resources and probably save thousands of people. But you can't do that because Home Tree is literally probably millions of thousands, probably thousands of Na'vi who have passed on and are still hanging out. The Doctor. The Doctor's the other character. There's the Doctor, the Colonel, and Jake Sully. And when you look at Jake Sully, you also sanitary. So it's the couple, the Colonel, and the Doctor. And the Doctor's story, she learned empathy. I'd say the Doctor is a mystery at this point. It's not something like it's Clueless. But she's a mystery in that she's up to something. Things are happening with the Doctor that aren't happening with other characters. The Doctor showed empathy when she probably shouldn't have. The whole group got in trouble and had to rebound at the Doctor's headquarters. Doctor got shot. Doctor was sitting in the war zone. And scientists don't do that. So the Doctor might be one of those characters that showed too much empathy. But what gets me about the Doctor is that those avatars that she's making have 5 fingers. I can't wait. I can't wait to hear what kind of story unfolds on that one, because she's the sympathetic character. She's an orphan in this one. She's wounded. She died. She's wounded. She's a single mother. She's an orphan. And the planet is messing with her in ways that no one else understands. Plus, the entire military of Earth is after her. There's stuff going on with the doctor. And then she goes to a place of safety and she's getting bullied. I'd say the doctor is the sympathetic character to look at. Okay, but that's kind of a recap. Part 2. What happens in part 2? I don't want to keep reading. I can. Dang it, I had it. The past few podcasts, I've been skimming over the Wikipedia so that I get it right. And I can't remember a podcast where I ever heard somebody just read Wikipedia. So I'm going to try not to. There's an essay, I remember what I said. I went over this plenty. What sticks out in this movie that I didn't go over was the whale. The whale is like 40% of this film. And I'm going to say something, and I hope it's different when you have thoughts. You can say things in your mind and have it sound horrible and super negative, and no one else is going to hear it. And you can say things that you don't mean, and no one's going to judge it, ever. I could say Avatar 2 is a horrible movie in my mind. It's not. But that's where I'm coming from right now. Is I like Avatar 2. But I'm about to say something that I hope people don't misconstrued as something negative. It's an opinion. And that's Avatar 2. Oh, hold on a second. Okay, I'm back. What I was saying was Avatar 2 feels like a family vacation. It feels like a family's whole movie. And I can't tell if that's a negative comment. But if anyone asks me what do I think of Avatar 2, that's exactly what I'm going to say. That the film feels a lot like someone's home movies or family vacation. The VHS tape. In the past, people used to make jokes about visiting someone's house, and they'd pull out the real projector and go over home movies or the photo album of going on vacation, slideshows. Because it's like there was this giant romance story, and in Avatar 2 they jumped 20 years ahead, and about 10 15 minutes later, the family goes to a water park. And they have to check into the hotel. They find a room. And he says, okay, I'm going to let you all run wild. Behave yourselves. That's a big part of it. Jake Sully being a dad saying, okay, Behave yourselves. We're at the water park. And then they run off to go get in trouble. And the trouble that they find is Dad's war machine. Which is a lot of trouble. And it's an entertaining movie. It's really good. It's a spectacle. I said it last time. It's part of the fun of watching Avatar is that it's a giant special effect. So I think I'll go over, I'll start with the recap. From my memory, in this movie, they, Neytiri starts out plump. She's a mom. And she's in the woods trying to shoot something for dinner. And she finds soldiers. And they do a fast forward, which is Jake Sully's family. Jake Sully and Neytiri now have a family. They have two boys and a really young one. There's 3 plus the doctor. I think that's 4. And then Spider makes 5. Jake Sully has a family of 5 in this one. 5 little kids running around. And only two of them are old enough they will run off and get in trouble. I'm not sure if I got the number right. Hold on, I'm going to be right back. Okay, I got it right. They have a family of 5. They've got 2 teenage boys. The doctor. And then there's a little Rugrat. And Spider's hanging out. Now, Spider's an interesting character. Spider, when I saw the movie, I thought that he looked like a Jack Kirby character. Commandy. And Commandy is... I was watching... what was it? One of the latest DC animated films, Infinite Crisis, Attack on the Two Worlds, or it's one of those. And Commandy shows up, and it's one of those moments where I could tell if that movie was screened with comic book fans, or if they made it a big budget, that would have been a moment of applause. Because an old Jack Kirby favorite hops on screen, living and breathing. And it's neat to see. Commandy is a character who's what is it? The last boy on Earth in the future. which means he's fighting all sorts of contraptions, wild beasts, the apocalypse, New York's underwater, that sort of thing. It's Savage Land. It's no man's land. He looks like Tarzan in blue jeans, cut off blue jeans. I'm guessing Cameron might be a Jack Kirby fan. Um, but Neytiri hates Kamandi, and that's part of the film too. They really go into it in the comic book. She gives him side eyes, stares. I think she literally says, "I hate Kamandi." I mean, not Kamandi, Spider. Um, because Spider is the Colonel in her house. The man who destroyed her family, Home Tree, and tried to kill her husband and her, and has killed a number of her family, is in her house. In a way where she has to look after him. She doesn't. I don't think she has that much empathy left. I think that might be part of it. I need water. Be right back. I think I'm going to talk about the Doctor first. Yeah. I've been trying to have this conversation in my mind lately. And I think about Avatar. And then and then I think about the Doctor. And the conversation's over. Once you're talking about what the movie's probably trying to say to you. I don't want to feel like a drag on. So, my thoughts on the Doctor. I think the Doctor's story is super entertaining. I think that they're trying to say something and they haven't said it yet. It's building. But whatever it is that they're saying is likely dials into the empathy journey. The Doctor is going on her empathy journey. And when watching the first movie, there's a beginning, middle, and end, and you understand it. There's a celebration. With the Doctor, she gets wounded. She gets wounded and basically dies. It's sad. There's no celebration about it. You assume that she went to Home Tree. And I don't know. Maybe got spit out into a new Avatar body. That's exactly what happens in the sequel. Her and Jake Sully were supposed to die they were supposed to rest at Home Tree or the new one or something. The whole tribe was chanting. And they die. They leave their earth bodies. They go into the spirit of Home Tree. And Home Tree spits them out into brand new avatar bodies. But they aren't brand new avatar bodies. They're the ones the doctor made. Jake is walking around in his brother's body. The one designed for his brother. And the doctor, well, in this one, it turns out that she gets pregnant somehow. She jumps into the tree. Here's what's interesting. They have full scenes in Avatar of where they're hugging each other's hair. People are walking around bare. There's very little to the imagination. But it's tribal. It is traditional. It's how people are. There are tribes out there in the world where people aren't wearing anything. So they're covered, and it's a-okay. The doctor being pregnant doesn't need to be a mystery. I think they just, if you watch the movie, she's not winking or signaling to anyone. It's that it's 20 years go by. So I think I think what they're saying is part of the pregnancy is a mystery, which might mean Home Tree's involved. Home Tree may have looked at her and said, you like to make things on Pandora, just like me. I don't think that happened. I think because of the fact that the doctor grew those avatar bodies with 5 fingers, she isn't stepping into her empathy journey completely. She is not fully walking with the Na'vi. She's enjoying what she does, which is science. She's playing around on Pandora. And the Colonel isn't any different. There's a part of this that looks like Jake was the only one who took the empathy journey. To me, it looks like the doctor has some explaining to do about her actual feelings about Pandora. So she's pregnant, and then she has Kiri, I think. Hold on, let me look. Yeah. And she's, she's a neat character. I did a I did a YouTube short with about Kiri where she's staring down into the water. There's a moment where she's staring at the light hitting the water. And then she looks up and the narrator says the AI is expensive. And then you see a bunch of dragons fly by. And then it starts all over again. Where it looks like Kiri doesn't care about the budget. She's just they spent all the money to get light to look right underwater. Water is the most difficult thing in CGI. And she's just eating up resources. And she's like, what? But I think, okay, so Kiri's walking around. She's got special powers. But what I'm focused on. Hold on, there's another scene. I'm going to get that in a second. There's what I'm focused on is that she's just like the Doctor. I know she looks like the Doctor. It is her playing the part. But what I'm getting at is I think she grew that avatar body. So the story has it she's injured. She lays down in front of Home Tree, and then an injured version of her hops into an avatar body. Is she still injured? I don't know. She might have been weakened, too weak to take the journey. But she's in a coma. So I guess it was a lot of stress on the Doctor. I mean, dying. I guess I guess dying, getting shot and dying was too much stress on the Doctor. But what does she do? So ignoring the pregnancy. Kiri shows up. The Doctor's wounded. She's in a coma. The question is, can the Doctor mess with avatars, her avatar, while she's in a coma? The maker of avatars. The maker of avatars, with the help of Home Tree, can she mess with her avatar while in a coma? And I think the answer is yes. While in that stasis tube, she can fiddle with that thing. I think that is what happens in this movie. It's weird. But if Carrie's able to walk around and tell the plants to go left or right, and the doctor shows up at Home Tree and she connects with Home Tree, and now she has the ability to merge with Home Tree and tell something on Pandora to go left or right, then I think all that rest in the stasis tube, she was able to say, I could just make a new avatar. My avatar's broken. What do I do, Home Tree? Let's get you a new avatar. How do I do that? And then Carrie starts walking around. Then you fast forward, and there's another scene where Carrie goes to sleep and she actually talks to the doctor. This is where everything falls apart, is because Carrie if Carrie is the doctor, then that's some sort of force vision that's happening, where she's talking to herself and trying to bring herself around to what's happened, is that she died. She's trying to gently tell herself, you died, and they gave you a second chance. The other idea is that is her mom somehow. And a family story is going to unfold. Which is sad. Somehow, if that's true, I think the doctor didn't make it. The doctor probably didn't make it. Because she says something like, oh, they didn't tell you. Anyway, that's the doctor's story. I think she's got Jedi powers on Pandora. She's connected with Home Tree. She's part of the planet. And it's the doctor. If it is the doctor in a second avatar, starting over from scratch, where she's not only her empathy journey is from scratch. Is that what happened? Did the doctor double down and say, I want to do this empathy journey. I love the Na'vi that much, that I want to do this I want to do this properly and actually start over as a Na'vi? It could be possible. So in that case, the doctor, the the five fingers though, the doctor started out in a place where she was dipping her toe into empathy. And on the other side is the Colonel, who wants to burn the place to the ground. He prefers Earth. And in the middle is Jake Sully, who just wants to have a family. I don't think Jake is concerned at all about the conquest of that planet. 20 years went by, and he didn't organize a single thing. He didn't organize a single troop to get together if they show up. He sat around and ate good and laughed with his family. Avatar's a good story. Okay, so after that, I'm going to move the Colonel. I'm going to move over to the Colonel and then talk about the main family. The Colonel, it's possible that the Colonel goes on his empathy walk in this movie, not the first movie. He's the antagonist in the first movie. Second movie, he wakes up. He doesn't make it. Spoilers. This is a clone. I remember. This is a clone of the Colonel. Neytiri put a couple arrows in him. So it's a clone, and he sits down and he watches a video of himself. And then he's up to speed. And it is that person. And the big reveal that you learn is that he had a son. He had Spider. After he dies, a little boy is wandering around on Pandora alone. He's running through the medical labs and whatnot. So Spider's story is Neytiri kills his dad. And then he goes to live at her house. Just wandering around bothering everyone. Neytiri does not like Spider because Quadrich, the Colonel, it's a reminder, but it turns out to be more than that. Well, the Colonel comes back and his Marines bring him back. Which is an idea. Earth still needs unobtainium. So they send the same people to go get it. 20 years later, they were kicked off the planet. They had a breather, and things must have gotten worse on Earth. They've decided, okay, we can't mess with the forest people. We're gonna go head out to the water where no one lives. And we're gonna go underwater where they can't breathe. And we're gonna get our boats and we're gonna see what we can find under the ocean. Because that's what happens on Earth. By the way, seeing the Colonel hang out with the Marines has to be one of the best parts of this movie. I have been tickled by it for weeks and weeks because he sounds like he hates being on Pandora, but I can tell he loves being on Pandora. And he sounds like a Vietnam vet where he's shell shocked about it, saying Navi, eat Navi, sleep Navi, see Navi. And he stands there and he gives orders. They wake him up. No wonder they picked him. They wake him up and he knows exactly what to do. He decides he's going after Jake Sully. Whatever they try to do, Jake is going to hop in and turn over the apple cart. Jake was able to organize the people of Pandora. He can't have that happen again. So whatever happens is Jake has to be out of the way. But the story also might be that I don't know. The Colonel might want revenge. I don't know. I think he picks his job first. I think the Colonel, they woke him up for a reason. And I don't think it was to get back at anyone. I think that they needed someone who could make choices. Because the fire village thing happens. Where those Marines, they show up and they decide, we're just gonna destroy the village. I think we should destroy the village. And then they'll do whatever we say. And then they turn to the colonel and say, right, boss? This is the right choice. We just burn their huts and we kill all the people. And his son says, please, no, don't do that. And then he says, well, just burn their huts. And then they'll know that we're serious. But that's part of the empathy journey. When he first meets with his troops, they go to find a dragon to fly. And that's him going through Jake Sully's journey with the Sky People. He's trying to get as close to them and understand. But it's false because he doesn't want to be one of them. He just wants their power to use against. I think he probably feels like Jake figured something out. And he could harness that power too, if it was able to defeat him. But first he has to get through Jake. I don't think it's empathy. He's not trying to empathize with the Na'vi. So his son is there though. That's what when I was thinking of this movie at first, it's complicated. I didn't know what to make of it. The story changes completely. It stops being about war, and it's people at home. It's civilians, and it's like two people who were at war go home, and then they have to be next door neighbors. And his kid hangs out across the street at Jake Sully's house all the time. And then all of a sudden, he's like, no, knock it off. You're coming with me. What do they have over there that's so good? We'll go do that. And he's horrible at it. He's absolutely horrible at it. He'll burn down the village. He's still trying to be one of the Sky People in an avatar body, which means he is not trying. But then Spider's there, and he cares about Spider. So that's where his empathy journey is. He cares about Spider, which means he had a wife or something. He cared about someone. He cared about someone, passed away, and is given a second chance to connect with them. And he's taking advantage of it. But there's unfinished business with Jake Sully. And he is a Marine. He has a job to do. And in the essay, the conclusion I came up with, or I got to, was you cannot compromise the safety of your family. I'm trying to get the exact wording. You cannot compromise the safety of your family. Don't compromise. Let me think. I haven't gone over this very much. of what is the Colonel's empathy journey. Because the story shows up of where it's delayed. He isn't focused on connecting with the people of Pandora. So off to the Sullys. Jake and Ateri are minding their own business for about 20 years. And then they get attacked by the Sky People. And they decide, oh no, we can't put our people through that again. And they have a family, which will probably die if they stick around and get shot at. So they decide to move to the Water People and hide, where they are not expected there. And they're welcomed. They're reluctantly welcomed. There's two things to talk about. One is the whale, which I have not taken a good look at. And the other thing is the climax of the movie, of where there's a showdown. There's a part 2 of the fight that happens in the first movie. Now, the whale. He sends his kids out to go be themselves, to learn something, to understand the Water People, to not get in trouble. And that's most of the movie, is they get in trouble. They go out and they find a whale. And then the whale gets injured, I think. And there's a shark whale. There's a giant creature. It might be the same one. There's a giant creature that tries to eat Jake's kid. And there's a pregnant mom whale. Part of the story is, I think that the story is saying that the Water People needed to connect with this whale creature in order to say it too is part of the tribe. Because the Sky People show up. The Sky People show up and they're going after Unobtainium, and the whale's in the way. And the story needs the Water People to show up and protect the whale. And protect Pandora. Because what happens is the Sky People are just going to have their way on the water and put landmines. They're going to mine and drill, dirty the place. So I think that's what happened. I think that whole plot line of the whale and the pregnant moms was about saying that the Pandora, the environment, the sea life is intelligent, and it too is part of the tribe and needs looking after. And the sky people can't just show up and start shooting it. So the fight from the first movie returns. And then it leads into the Jake Sully family getting involved. And they decide to tear everything up. They tear everything up, and then they have a sinking oil rig. So the Colonel's right. If they're going to take over that planet, they need to get Jake Sully and his family out of the way. But after that, that's the main focus that I think this movie's about. Which is, you can't compromise the safety of your family. And I think they get to that by the moment of Neytiri facing off against the Colonel, where she's willing to sacrifice Spider. That scene is so far up to that point in the story. Spider is part of her family. And right in front of the Colonel, she draws a line and defines exactly what her family is. And it's not the man trying to kill them. And she decides Spider is not part of her family. He is a sky person. He is not one of the people. And he belongs with the Colonel, the man trying to kill her family. She is focused and clear about that. The water people have to make a similar decision. Do they or do they or do they not allow the sky people to, I don't know, attack the neighboring village? Well, there's a moment where there's like, well, they're over there. They're just going to attack that village. They won't make it this way. Well, those whales, even we have to eat. There's stuff out there. They're going to attack that. No, they have a rallying. And they say they destroyed the forest people. We cannot let them damage us. So if it's the first movie, he's saying empathize. And in a case of war, of two I don't want to say factions, two people. In the case, if you have two people disagreeing, then empathy is needed so that they can walk in each other's shoes and understand where they're coming from, and the violence can stop. Should that fail, I think he's saying, do not let them walk over you. You keep them you keep them at a distance, and you have to protect your family. If you are faced with someone who's willing to destroy everything, protect yourself and your family. I think that's what this story's saying, because it's a brand new family. It's it's smart writing, I think. If that is, this is my understanding, but if that is what James Cameron is pointing towards, that is, I think that's some really sharp writing, because I didn't see it coming. I was shocked. I was shocked when I saw this story that she would hoist Spider up by the bridges and actually draw a line in the sand on him. He was part of her family the entire time. She raised Spider and had to point with the knife and say, that one over there is mine, not this one. You take back yours and give me back mine. And she's in pain when she's doing it. I think, is the most important scene in this movie. That's this is also what upset me with this movie, is that they disappear. Jake and Neytiri disappear in this film. And then they show up at the end and be parents. But yeah, that's that. I can't wait to see what happens with the Doctor. It's a good movie. Avatar 1, Avatar 2, they are amazing. It's really good sci-fi. It's really good film. Um they're modern classics. Not many There aren't many movies that can, it's not the fact that it's a giant film or their scale, but it's operatic. It's neat when the theater can be operatic and grand, and not just expensive. Star Wars knows how to do that too. This is this is another Star Wars. It's really neat to see. I haven't seen the new one. I could go watch it tonight. Um, I'm different with movies. I like to watch them at home. I know how some people say, you're ruining it. You have to. If I go, I'll go during the morning. I'll go at the first showing, not the. I have a wallet full. I'm one of those people that I hold on to my movie ticket stubs. I like going to the movies. And I still have movies from the 90s, the ticket stubs. I have ticket stubs from like Spider-Man and Fight Club and whatnot. And over the years, it's dawned on me that I enjoy not the theater experience of it's a giant crowd. You can have the theater experience with just a handful of people. I don't need the entire theater and everybody's laughing. It's what bugs me is the community groupthink happens of where every little joke in the movie is raised up high and everyone is celebrating it. It's neat, but it's also false because when you watch the movie by yourself, I don't laugh ever. I'm a miserable type person. I don't laugh ever. I hardly ever when I watch a movie. Something really funny has to happen. But I enjoy it all the same. And what I found is I like to watch the first showing. I'll go in the morning at the 9, 10, 11 a.m. show. And I'll plop down. And the theater will have, typically, it's spotted. I'd say it's usually 20 people or less. But it looks full. Because everyone has their own little space. And what happens is that people let the laughs roll. The small ones, they go by. And the groupthink is still there, but you have to press to get it, which is what happens at home. And what I really prefer is to watch movies at home. I really prefer to just stay at home and watch it. I prefer a nice big TV. People are different. I prefer a nice big TV. And I'll turn it up loud. And something else happens is where I can actually empathize with what's happening on screen if I watch it at home, because someone's gonna have to stab me to cry in public. Something magical is gonna have to happen in order for me to cry in public in a movie. It's got to be some really special bit of storytelling. But at home, I'm by myself, and I can empathize a little more. And I prefer it. So it's in the theater now. Had a December showing. So that's, you have to wait January, February, March. And odds are it'll be out in April in the spring. So I might be doing another Avatar talk soon, or it'll be in the spring. But that's it. That's all for Avatar 1 and 2. I think they're great. I like the new Miley Cyrus song too. I've been changing lyrics. But okay, that's all. Be well, everyone.